I won't ask him just yet. I'll ask him after this. Okay, so let's just get the ball rolling. We've been fucking around for 40 fucking minutes.
Okay.
I guess we just shouldn't have a segue. Like, it's hard. It's fucking hard sometimes, especially if you're not writing it. But it's episode 92 of ABC, the coronavirus edition.
Yep.
Not that
Though we're doing this from home edition, not any different than any other edition, but it deserves a special title.
There
just
was an
because of that
edition
fact.
where everyone was in a room talking. This was fucking years ago.
I guess there was a single episode of ABC we did do actually in one room together.
Yep. There's
Back when we had
also the
Alex.
the gamers retrospective that we recorded, and then I lost the footage and/or it got fucked up. So
Yeah.
there we go.
There is gamers audio, but there's nothing to go with it.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, but now that I have a
Um,
camera, it should work next time. We'll see what happens. But let's start
wasn't
off.
there another one?
Was there one? We did the Neo
I forget if there
Yokio
was
stuff.
one more we did. Did we do the Neo Yokio stuff in one room?
Yes, but we
All
never
right,
did
the
like.
Neo Yokio stuff must be what I'm thinking of.
No, we watched the Neo Yokio movie and then
Oh,
Jeffrey's
right.
movie, but we never actually talked about it
Yeah,
because we were all
that's right.
It was 1 o'clock and we were not about to fucking talk because we were
Yeah.
all fucking tired. Alex and Jeffrey were drunk off Skull Rum,
Yes,
so yeah,
I remember this now. But back to this in this
Yeah.
episode.
it's okay. We watched 2 episodes, episode 11,
We watched two
12,
episodes.
10. Whoops, 10, 11. I don't know how math works.
Yep, and they kind of went together, so it's a good thing we did these two together.
Yeah, they actually went really well together. It was basically just one not mini arc, but like it explored two pieces of conflict, two like little smaller arcs that fit into like the bigger. We're making this movie for the city arc.
Yeah.
More specifically,
So-
you can take it off if you want. Take
We
it away.
had to both deal with the student council coming down on our film club about the outside
Money.
funds and whether or not they were allowed to have them. And we had to deal with Asukasa trying to decide what the actual full story of this is going to be.
Hey, what the fuck is?
Because while she's great at thinking up things, she's not so good at sticking to one story sometimes.
Which, at least in the first episode, or the first episode we watched, episode 10, there was a really funny moment where they're exploring the clock tower, and she's getting lost into this new story, and you get, the little music that they use over and over again, and then halfway through, Kanamori's like, shut the fuck up. What are we going to do about the aliens?
Yeah.
And it happened like two smaller times, and I really enjoyed this moments.
Hmm.
Because they're being aware of, like, how they're using that music, and how, like, they have these fantastical moments.
I think one of my favorite things, not with the music, but with just like the weird fantastical moments, was I forget which episode it was. I think it was the second of the two that we had to watch, as Azukasa and the model were both like pretending to walk down the high beam separated like above the lava, and then you see Kanamori just walking
Yeah.
through the lava next to them,
'Cause
or
she's just
walking
fucking
over the
done.
lava more specifically. Yeah, because she's just no longer participating in the games. She just wants this to be over and have a storyboard in front of her. So I do really like the whimsical moments and the way that they're dealing with it, and especially like the combination of the real world and what's really happening with the imagination moments. It's interesting how it all kind of blends together. Sometimes they do it well.
They also bow tie these 2 episodes really well together at the very end of episode 11, because every single like little piece of every single moment that they have in these 2 episodes comes back at the end to create the actual concept of the world.
Uh-huh.
Like the little toy they make that kind of flows in the water and kind of hits the little bell that becomes like the bells that like I didn't really understand it, but like the bells kind of satiate the kappas, I think, and then the clock tower it becomes the horn, which makes the upper people feel good. I don't remember like how it worked. Was it that they felt good, or was it that it was like some tradition that they had to keep it going?
I mean, okay, I also didn't fully understand it. I just like hearing you try and describe it using like
Yeah,
the
I just
weird
don't fucking
words you can
know.
vaguely remember. The word they said a lot was communicate, like you could communicate using those. I didn't understand if we were communicating with each other or if we were communicating with like other groups of humans and other groups of kappas, or like what the communication was supposed to be. I was very uncertain of.
Right, and then I just
But-
start seeing landslides everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, landsliding into the water and the tower would go up and then it would go back down, and so our landslides and the tower would go up and come back down. It was really bizarre, dude.
It makes sense for maybe it'll make sense when we watch the actual animation, but it makes sense for Asukasa, so I'll just fucking leave it.
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch it actually kind of completely uh, 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 uh God, I don't know what the word. Just understand everything, I guess.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was a little weird.
Hmm. No doubt.
Uh,
Um, but the genesis of this whole sound of the bells came from Asukasa's decision to avoid her job and instead go help the sound club with her job as they went to capture a specific sound that had degraded from years previous when it had first originally been captured.
which I'm
And
not sure how
so,
it degrades. If maybe it's not digital, maybe it's not like on a vinyl record or something,
I mean, I have to assume that's what it is.
right?
I have to assume it's like a physical copy of that sound held somewhere, and yeah, the sound, like whatever it's stored on, is just gotten so old that it just doesn't have the quality it once had.
Okay,
Because I
that
mean,
makes
this girl
sense.
is all about sound quality above everything else. So it's one of those things of even if it still sounds like a bell, if it doesn't have the same quality that it used to have or a quality that they could capture now, she would go out and replace it, I feel like.
Yeah, like when they get to the little to the gong to the bell, they
Hmm.
she even tells Mizusaki to like take off her jacket because it's making the rubbing noise.
Yep.
She's an audiophile. She wants the perfect soundbite.
The lady, as they all go off to capture the soundbite. And along the way, Asukasa decides, I promise I'll be thinking up the storyboard, the last little, put it all together with a bow sort of moment. Yeah, she has nothing figured out. This is basically just a way to escape her job. And
Yeah.
along the way, we basically just get to see her envision a whole bunch of different creative things that are in no way related to her story.
Yep. And then
Uh,
Kanamori trying to like make sure she's trying to direct her in the correct way, trying to direct the director basically.
yeah. I mean, it is an interesting sort of way of looking at things. Of you have to kind of control or like direct in the way you might aim. I guess aim
Yeah,
would
you
be
have
a
to
better word
aim
for
it.
the. Yeah, you have to aim like a creative force at go in this direction, create a storyboard, not just random stories about thieves breaking into a clock tower with wheatgrass growing on top so they can have a showdown with a bodyguard. Um, but it was certainly an interesting little story that she thought up on the fly of a gang of, or I forget what she called it.
A gang of miscreants. I don't know. That's what they
She
were.
used a specific word, and it was like it was basically like collective of thieves, but it wasn't collective. I forget what word or like the what the translation of it was.
Okay.
But it was something that like looking at it, it made me think like, why is it always like like there's a collection of thieves? Like Ocean 11 is also another one of those examples of things of like a group of thieves who all are like, we're going to band together to do some awesome job. Like, why is it always just thieves?
Honor among
It's never
thieves.
like,
I don't know.
I mean, at some point you would think like, all right, we're gonna need like one or two thieves and then a whole bunch of other different jobs of people who aren't necessarily thieves. It's always just thieves. It's always just people who are good at stealing shit.
Wait, but in Ocean's 11, every thief has like their job. Not all of them are thieving. Like I think only one of them actually does the stealing, and the other ones are helping them out.
Yeah, but they're all thieves though. Like they were all steely people. Even though they like in the heist they all have different jobs. They're all stealing dudes.
I guess so. I don't know.
It's just weird to me.
Right.
It's weird to me that they would assemble a crew of, all right, we're all gonna we're all gonna be people who jack shit for a living. Now we're gonna give everybody different jobs, and only one of us is actually gonna do the jacking.
It's it's Armageddon all over again, where we get miners and train them to be astronauts instead of
Yeah.
astronauts and just train them to be miners. That was Armageddon, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
With Bruce Willis. There's actually a line in that movie where Bruce Willis is like, I've been drilling my whole life and I still haven't gotten all this shit figured out. And you're like, yeah, because being an astronaut is so fucking easy. Um, I forget why. It's in the movie because somebody brought up that same thing of like, why don't you just have the miners train the astronauts? Like, why does it have to be the miners to get trained to be astronauts? And that was why the line is in the movie because he was basically telling his friend or whoever said it like, "Fuck you." That's why.
But I mean, that's
But our
in terms of the movie, that's an acceptable reason. Like, I just wanted to fucking do it.
yeah. Um, but Armageddon aside, we're not blowing up asteroids here. We're blowing up UFOs, and Asuka is trying to figure out who is in the UFO.
Who's in the UFO, and then later on, who's in the fucking submarines
Yeah,
that turn into UFOs?
because Asakasa is very influenced by her environment, and so without, I think, a greater understanding of the city, because from what I can understand, like the city that they're working with isn't the city that they live in. It's like a city nearby, but it's not necessarily the same one they live in, I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was city living because they're around that little bay area.
But she doesn't seem super familiar with a lot of things. Like when they were
Well,
doing
because
like
I
the
think
whole
she moved
exploration of the
in.
waterways and shit.
'Cause I think she moved into the city. She like never actually lived there for a while. Like she's only been there for a couple of years,
Hmm.
and by a couple of years I mean like 2 to 3 years. That's why she
Okay.
needs to like explore. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be willing to accept that too.
But like back to the city, like the city is fucking weird. Like there's this whole area that's just flooded,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just I want to understand like what created the city. Like where are they? How did this happen?
Yeah.
Because
Like, why is there a city government who's just okay with like a car, like a road, a full-on road that just got flooded and like is completely waterlogged?
right,
And they're
like
like, yeah, that tunnel is just, we're gonna forsake that. That's gone.
right, like I thought at first when I saw it, I thought it was like a man-made river, which we even have here
Uh-huh.
in the U.S. But it's no, it's
Yeah.
just a fucking road.
It's just a fucking road. Yeah.
God, it's just
It's so weird. And like I don't know if they just like the road got flooded and they were like, we can use this, and they built the rest of that, or if it was all a road, but like that was some weird shit, dude.
like as weird as it is. I just find it so fucking cool and just entrancing. Just like trying to figure out what the hell's going on with the city.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some wonky shit with this city
I love it so much.
and this town as a whole as we kick off the second of our two episodes with a police raid.
Oh my god. We have like the fucking crazy ass club again.
Yeah, the security club with their fucking we're always watching you drones. They bust down the doors of the film club because the transcript club, I believe is what they were called, has been doing some illegal dealings. And so they fucking
Fucking
taser
he
a
gets
dude and
shot.
take and gets taken into police custody.
Okay, hold on. The tanks. Were they fantasy or were they real tanks?
I think they were
I
real
think they were real,
tanks.
right?
I think they rolled up with some fucking anti-personnel tanks. Yeah.
Because they like I'm pretty sure those like paintball guns were real paintball guns.
Yeah, okay, that was the other weird thing. Yeah, the transcript club had like bodyguards with paintball guns as like defense. Like they full on looked like fucking drug runners in that moment of them like curled up in the doorway firing paintball guns out the door. They were fucking drug runners.
I can't tell if this is real or not. It's just so fucking bizarre.
It's so bizarre. I think it was real
I think it was too. Because usually,
because of the interaction with the secretary, I guess is what she is.
yeah,
I think that
the
all
don't
actually
shoot.
happened.
I'm part of the student council.
Yeah. The warrant for his arrest comes around the door. She walks in like the fucking KGB agent that she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, soon after we get the backstory of Kanamori and little Asukasa and how they came to be comrades but not friends.
Yes.
People who are just there with a give. There was a quid pro quo that they admit to. Fuck, I thought it was a funny joke, and now I completely forgot what I was gonna
This is what you get for trying to bank jokes and not writing them down.
say. Anyways, yeah, there's a give and take, and that's basically kind of what defines their relationship. Basically, to the outside audience, they're fucking friends.
Yeah.
Kanamori is a tsundere. Even Mizusaki says so, like a little bit afterwards about like, are we not friends? And Asuka's like, no, we're comrades. And she's like, okay, sure, we're comrades, quote quote.
Uh-huh.
But it tells us this quick story of how Kanamori kind of basically drags Asukasa along on this little on this little journey where she goes and gets these little leaves that she sells to get money, and then gives Kanamori gives Asukasa like $10 for helping her out. And it's
Yeah.
kind of where they start to interact with each other. Kanamori even kind of has that glimmer of like, so there's something about Asukasa that's special after seeing her little drawings. They have a little close up of her, and she looks really inspired, I guess.
Sure.
But yeah, that's how they.
Good as word, isn't he?
Yeah, that's how they become friends. And even this little story, comes back at the end, because that's the theme of their short, is this give and take between the two little colonies of the Kappas and normal human people.
Coexistence
Coexistence, that's what it was.
is our buzzword of the show, or
Yep.
this final arc at least. Um, and as part of the coexistence thing, we also have. Oh god damn it. While you were talking about this, there was something else I specifically wanted to bring up that happens in the show that just kept sort of flowing in and out of my mind, as in terms of there was another important event that we had to talk about first.
Okay.
Oh,
Yep.
um, what's her name? The model girl starts her modeling again,
Yes.
and she also gets involved in the judging of the voiceover
Yep.
auditions, I
Mhm.
guess. I was going to
Because
say competition,
yeah,
but I don't think that's quite the right word.
I think it was a competition. It was
Was
like
it?
yeah, because they're trying to because they're all. I guess it's just auditions. It's not really a
Yeah.
competition.
You're just auditioning for the part. I mean, I feel like they described it as a competition, but it's definitely just auditions, is
Yeah,
what it
they're just trying to
was.
get the right person.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Um,
but Kanamori basically kind of like not really forces me Mizusaki to do it, but like tells her like this is what you should be doing.
yeah.
I recommend you do this.
Why are we here? Because our animation is flawless and people respect that. No,
No,
because she's
fuck you.
famous, you idiot. Who the fuck do you think you are? Ufotable?
I fucking love Kanamori. I
I mean, that's what they are. They are
yeah,
like they are junior Ufotable. Is basically
basically.
what Mizusaki is, at least.
These last two episodes, did they make you like Kanamori more? Did you think that they've been using her better?
Huh.
Because I know that's been a
Um.
gripe the last couple of episodes.
Uh-huh.
Because I would
I think
argue,
so.
because I would argue that like this is probably like she's done most of everything in the last
Yeah.
arc. Because we're not really
Yeah.
focusing on the animation part, or well, we're not really focusing on the animation for Mizusaki, but we are focusing on Asukasa's creativity and trying to direct her. But
Hmm.
Kanamori is involved in that, and then Kanamori is also involved in trying to make this whole thing still work,
Hmm.
um, because the school's trying to basically shut them down.
Yeah, and like trying to find the loophole that lets them keep the money that they're trying to get to do more stuff later on.
And she's basically strong arming the act not the student council, but the fucking actual faculty.
Yeah.
That's just some
Um,
big dick energy.
yeah, because after everything that happens, they finally get actual press to start reporting on them, which obviously brings, you know,
Buzz to the
they are
school.
reported as the film club from whatever the fuck their high school was called. So the high school gets good press because of this. And suddenly that film club that they were going to, shut down and prevent them from doing this thing,
Can't
suddenly
really
you
do it
can't
anymore.
quite shut that down anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are basically three girls strong arming a high school who, granted, and Kanamori did point this out, their arguments for why they shouldn't be allowed to do this were sort of shit to begin with. So it's not exactly surprising that they're getting strong
That
armed.
first episode is fucking hilarious, where she just looks so done with everything,
Yeah, she's
and
just
then
staring up at the ceiling.
and then she starts shit talking, and then the camera pans out, and you just see the teachers right next to her.
Yeah. You see the teachers and the student counselor both just staring at her, and she's staring up the ceiling, be like, "You're all so fucking dumb." I
Did
think
you?
one of my favorite underhanded insults was when Kanamori says, like, I wonder if part of the government regulations is that all teachers have to be idiots too. And like the student council president gets offended, the secretary looks at her and goes, I think you'd make a great teacher. That as an underhanded insult was so fucking prime. I loved it.
I like the
The
secretary
shade
too.
there was
The
delicious.
secretary is pretty fucking funny.
The secretary is incredible.
Did you also notice a small little detail when it's panning? I think this is the second time it pans back from our girls to the teachers. One of the teachers, basically their counselor, is playing a Game Boy under the table.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, because he's playing a Game Boy in the first episode, in episode 10, and in episode 11, he's just chilling in the fucking decrepit car. That's it. Just by the way, back to the city being weird. There's just like a broken down car in the backyard of this fucking school, and this
Yeah.
teacher's just chilling there.
I mean, there was a fucking broken down car in that flooded waterway. There was
There
just
were
like a
multiple
Jeep that was
broken
stranded
cars.
there.
But yeah,
Yeah, there were cars all over the fucking place. Like people just there's so much that's fucking weird about the city. But yeah, the club advisor,
there we
we
go.
find out a
Yes.
little bit more about him in the second episode as he's chilling in the back of a fucking rusted out Beetle. That apparently, as long as they're at school, he also has to be there. So he has been basically 24/7 stuck at school,
Just playing video games.
just playing video games.
That
This
man has a
poor
Vita. I
dude.
love him.
This man had a Vita, but he was playing on the fucking OG Game Boy Color, I'm pretty sure.
with a joystick.
With a joystick, which is the weird thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they only had D-pads.
But he gives our girl Kanamori a good a little bits of words of wisdom, basically telling her that she needs to let Asukasa kind of play around because that's where she'll be inspired to create, the actual story. Because if
Yeah,
she tries to constrain her too much, then she could basically kind of like force Asukasa in a bad direction.
yeah. And that was what spawned our trip into the flooded streets of this town,
Yep.
and led to the coexistence as the main theme of our anime.
Yep.
As we decide the people in the UFOs are actually going to be
Kappas
kappas from
from
an
underwater.
underwater
Yep.
civilization. The entire time that she was explaining the underwater civilization, I was like, "Oh, it's Rapture from BioShock,"
Basically, yeah.
and I basically was just like, "Oh yeah, it's just gonna be Rapture." Like it's, I was super convinced of the Rapture thing, and then like halfway through, I was like, well, "It doesn't really work for Rapture unless you get the whole like, you know, we're all here for ourselves, not God or anything else." Like that was the main thing of Rapture. Rapture
Yeah, no
wasn't,
gods, no
yeah, we're
kings.
gonna form a city under the water and that's it. Like they were, yeah, the whole no gods, no kings thing. You totally forget that in the game because like the whole game, nobody's actually there except for crazy people. It's just
Right.
it's just a city underwater
Well, that's
is
that's the
all it
point. Yeah,
is.
that's the point about the crazy people, though.
Yeah, but that's why they're all there is because yeah, the whole no gods, no kings thing, only man.
Hmm.
Yeah, you kind of forget that whole like ideological thing in the background of Bioshock, I think. But Bioshock aside, yes, the Kappas from the underwater civilization are, as explained in the very weird summary that Asakasa gives us, I guess one of them crash lands in like the above ground world and decides that they're somehow connected in a way that makes them offended, and so it starts a war. Was also very uncertain about the beginning of the war.
Yeah, what I got was that there was already a war to begin with, and then the two that
Okay.
crash land end up saying, "Hey, we're not that different.
Ah,
Let's stop
okay.
fighting," because you have the mirrored revelation or not the mirrored revelations where they both
Hmm.
see like the little two like the three little Kappa dudes, and then one of them is showing like a picture of his family with his
Yep.
Kappa wife or his human wife, with his
Yeah.
Kappa daughter or his human son, and
Yeah.
that stuff. And he's like, "Hey, let's not fucking kill each other. Let's dance instead."
We're
And
basically the same people. And so yeah, they fix the bell tower and then it ends with a dance scene. Yeah.
yep,
Um
I still
which
don't
then
understand it,
connects
but
to, yeah, I don't understand the story either. But this connects to the sort of running thing through both of the episodes. I believe it's both of the episodes, in that this is also going to get a special music track done
yes,
for it. And
and
so this whole time, Asakaza has been supposedly or not supposedly, we see her collaborating with the person that is uh, writing this music track. And basically, the reason why we need to know about it is that this dance scene at the end can be set properly and timed properly so that it actually flows with the music. And so they received samples and were able to work with it and we're set up and ready to go. And then when the actual music got delivered, and this is how the last episode ends, we come to find out that the music that gets delivered is not at all the same, design as whatever the sample was
it's
and the
not
way
what they're
that it was designed
expecting,
for.
and it doesn't fit their actual show.
Yeah.
So they now have to figure something out.
I'll be honest, when they first started out with the music, I was very confused as to what I was supposed to be listening for because we hadn't, as far as I remember, we hadn't heard the sample originally, and so I had no idea if it was different or
We
not. Like it was
heard
just
a demo in episode 10, which is like kind of an electronic, kind of upbeat song.
okay.
It's easy to forget because it did happen that was the first thing that happened in episode 10, and the last thing that happens in episode
Okay.
11 is where we supposed to be like remembering it.
Right. Okay.
This is one of those moments where I wouldn't mind a like kind of a flashback or an auditory cue of like what was supposed to be the song.
Mm.
Because I was a little lost trying to figure out because like the song was playing and I'm like, okay, like what are you showing me? What the fuck is going on? Because I didn't know if it was diegetic or non-diegetic.
Yeah. I was expecting it to be something was going to be wrong with the
With the sound effects, because that's what I was
yeah,
expecting.
the bell sound, like the capture of the bell sound. I thought that was going to be fucked up or like you could hear them talking in the background or something.
Yeah,
So like when it was just some weird like sort of piano music playing over top of scenes that didn't make sense, I was very confused as to what I was looking at.
but we now have our very last kind of um, conflict that our girls have to like, kind of work through for this last episode because I think it's only 12 episodes.
Is it only 12
I
episodes?
believe so.
All right, I'm willing to believe that. I can never remember if things are 12 or 13 episodes. It seems fairly ambiguous or arbitrary.
12 episodes.
Okay.
So it is ending next week, and our next episode is going to be the last one, and we have to, figure out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, figure out what their decision is for how are we going to fix the music thing. Because let's be honest, that music did not really go for a dance scene. So I
Dancing
feel
or
like,
like even like the fighting scenes. I was wondering what the hell's going on.
yeah. Um, but I'm sure they'll pull something out of their ass and make it work.
Yep.
I will say that shot when the shot of the faculty after we've got really good press and they can't say no to us. We've got them over a bench sort of scene when it was like a top down shot of the faculty room. That was the first moment where I was fully like, oh yeah, they're full on in a pool.
Yeah,
Like
it's a
that is
pool.
fully a fucking like Olympic pool. This city is so fucking
I
bizarre,
love it
dude.
so much.
Why the fuck is there your faculty room in a pool?
Why is there water on our road? Why is there half this? Why is half the city just flooded?
Okay, yeah, that could just be like a, city decay sort of thing or something. Why the fuck is in their school, the faculty room in their school is in a fucking pool? Like, they should have a faculty room in that school somewhere for the faculty to be. They built a pool and then put the faculty in the pool.
So
Dude,
here's
there's
my
something
headcanon.
fundamentally wrong.
My
Okay, what do you
headcanon
got?
is that this city experienced a large like influx of people. I don't know. Maybe it's because there's like some other shit going on. Maybe it's an Evangelion world and it's like one of the last fucking cities. Who
Uh-huh.
knows? But they just have a high population, right?
Yeah.
And the normal rooms and like the normal rooms like had to be used for classrooms. No one really swam a lot because they can just go fucking outside because
Right.
they live right next to a bay and
Yeah.
or if they wanted to have a little lazy river, just go into the fucking road. Um,
Good point.
so they were like, fuck it, let's just put the teachers in the pool. Who knows? I don't know. It's a flimsy fucking excuse, but I like the way it looks. Just
Oh,
because
I
it's
mean, I
weird.
like it too, but it's so fucking bizarre,
Yeah.
dude.
They were going for an open floor concept, but this was decided after the city got built, or after the school got built, so they just took all the offices and just put them in the pool.
Yeah. They actually built the school and then were like, open concept. It's new. It's innovative. We're
Yeah.
gonna go for it. But we can't tear down the faculty walls because load bearing walls. So everybody get in the pool.
Yep.
You all work here now. Yeah, I'm willing to believe that. Um,
And like something else we never brought up, but like still adds some like weirdness to it all. Remember that first scene where Asakasa's mom like leaves to go do something and she's there watching anime? There's
uh-huh.
a massive storm outside, and they have to bring up metal beams, like metal fucking windshield.
Okay, yeah, we glossed over that in the beginning, and I was sort of surprised we were glossing over that. Yeah, they've got fucking metal storm shutters on their windows of like an apartment. There is
Like,
something like fundamentally wrong. Like this is definitely some like post global warming, like
right? Like,
everything is really, really weirdly bad sort of situation.
yeah, we should explain the fact that the city's really highly populated. But yeah, it's just so weird. There's so many things you could just think up of, and I think that's the point. Like, nothing's supposed to have an explanation. It's just supposed to be like these weird things that you can kind of create your own story around. Which I'm happy about it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I can't say it enough.
So with that, we can move on to a world which is very much like ours, except for the fact that there's spooky ghosts in it.
Toilet
Toilet Bound
Bound
Han,
Hanaka-kun.
where in 2 episodes, all that really happens is Nene gets shit on a whole bunch. Nene just sort of endlessly gets shit on in 2 episodes.
Yeah, basically. So, episode 9, episode titled Tea Party, that's basically what happens is Nene gets kidnapped by a hunk of a dude who's kind of spacey, but she's all about it because, in her own words, he's hot, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But she gets kidnapped, gets put into a different like dress. I'm not sure how that happens. Like, I assume something with the Black Hanako-kun or the Dark Hanako-kun, it's basically Tsukasa, and I have a theory about it later on. Gets kidnapped, gets put into this dress, and basically she meets Sakura, who is the partner, but she doesn't really say she's the partner of Tsukasa. Rather, she's kind of like indebted to him.
Yeah, she says that she made a wish through Tsukasa and is now bound to him because of that wish.
Right. Wherein Hanako kind of sees Nene as like an actual partner, like they're together, they're partners, they're like on equal footing.
Mhm.
It's not really the same sort of relationship for Sakura and Tsukasa.
Yeah, Tsukasa definitely has more of a
Kind of a piece of
well, he
shit.
has his childish moments of, clinging on to her and crying and stuff like that. He is definitely the dominant of
Fucking
that relationship.
crazy.
Yeah, dude is out of his fucking mind. I mean, we got a hint of it in episode 9 as he has like a moment of sort of blankly staring at Sakura
Yeah, where
before
he
she
says
puts
it's
Nene in
time.
like the death chair. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he says it's time. And then yeah, Nene has to go in the death chair. In the next episode, holy shit, that kid is a fucking sociopath.
Yeah. But the whole Tea Party thing, I really love this scene, mostly because it's Nene bitching about her boyfriend for half an hour,
Yeah,
and Sakura's like, "Yeah, he fucking sucks."
because Sakura is the counterpart of Nene in that they both fulfill basically the same role to the two different versions of Tsukasa and oh fuck, what's his name? It starts with an A.
Who cares? Fucking like the one douche on the side.
Well, no, Hanako, but I
Oh,
forget what
sorry,
his actual name is.
Akane.
Akane, thank you. So yeah, it's Akane and Tsukasa and their respective counterparts of Nene and Sakura.
Yep.
And so Nene, bleeds her heart out to Sakura of like, woe is me, everything is awful, my boyfriend is the worst, he disrespects me all the time and calls me daikon legs and all these other things.
That's not the last
And
time that happened.
Sakura's just like, yes, you're cute, I understand. And then she gets the you're dead eye, and Sakura gets the you're dead eyes from Tsukasa as he says, it's time.
And Sakura's like, "Oh well,
Oh well,
bye."
time. Here I go killing again.
And then she fucking banishes her to the Shadow Realm. And
Yeah, as
by
we see Nene in the chair, then it pans slightly to the side, and we see that the boy is coming with us.
that fucking set me over the wall.
When it pans slightly to the side, and we
She's-
see the second person.
She just turns around and the fucking douche is just there. He's like, "Oh no, why me again?" It's
I just
okay.
love it because there was a moment of like her shouting something, and then you hear him shouting the same thing slightly behind her. Like she starts shouting like, "No, please come back!" And you hear, "No, please come back!" And a slightly more masculine voice a second later, and you're like, "Wait, what?" And the camera pans slightly, and you see him in the chair. Oh my god, it was so perfectly set up.
And then he just rationalizes it by saying, "It's okay. That's how she loves. That's
Yeah.
her saying she loves me.
Loves me.
I respect it."
God, you're so mean to me. Do it more.
But then they kind of like drown in this weird goop. She says she's
Yeah.
sinking, but it looks more like there's stuff coming up from the wall, from the ground.
It definitely does. You're right.
But they go into this room where there's just doors everywhere. Hanako calls Nene on like a weird radio phone and tells her like, "Hey, I sent my little white red-eyed thing to go find you, but I can't really help you out that much. You'll have to kind of find your way out on your own."
Yes, because you are in, and this is one of the things that I was kind of certain they were going to do, but is also super fucking annoying because it's so like vague and hand wavy that I always hate. Because they were in the everywhere and nowhere space that is both all time and no time, which is basically just author code for, yeah, I need a reason for you to experience something back in time, and I no longer have a good reason to do it.
Right, but like there was a decent enough reason for like the library wonder. I'm not sure why they couldn't do the same thing with the mirrors. Because he said that Hanako said he couldn't go in because someone would see something. Maybe have Tsukasa come in, and that the arc is in his heart. Like you see kind of a flashback in time to like something that Hanako was thinking, and Nene sees that, and that therefore you don't need the fucking weird door room. Maybe the door room
Yeah.
comes back in like some other way. But yeah, this is basically the author saying, "Fuck it."
Yeah. I really need you to experience this one specific event, and this is how I'm going to write it into the plot. Fuck you! Everywhere and nowhere, all time and no time.
At the very least, there were some funny moments to kind of like pat it out.
There were.
Where-
There were some solid gags at the hot guy as he gets scared by a Jack in the Box, gets burned alive, and then accidentally walks into Terminator 2.
And then gets eaten by the Jack in the Box.
And then gets eaten. Yeah,
And then Nene's just like, "He'll be fine."
yeah, he'll be okay. And then we have Nene explore on her own. She also opens some wrong doors, but eventually finds her way back into the past of the moon landing days of 1959. And she runs into one of the two brothers.
We don't know who. We
Po-
don't know
yeah,
who.
possibly Akane. I'm more and more beginning to suspect it is actually Tsukasa, but we don't know for sure. I have no reason why I suspected Tsukasa, I'll be honest. I just sort of think it is.
That would be an interesting twist, because like we were never told that the first Hanako we see in the back. Well, so this one didn't have the bandages, but the other one did. Did the other one from the first one we saw in the first flashback? Did he like throw away his bandages?
I don't remember.
Okay, and was he ever called Akane?
I also don't remember that.
Because here's a cool little theory: is that the librarian is thinking of Tsukasa, not what's his face?
Akane.
Akane. The reason Akane is so like distraught is because he was the bad person and like now feels super guilty about it and is trying to like repent while Tsukasa's
Right.
like trying to get revenge.
Because Tsukasa has definitely said that Akane killed him.
Yes. We don't know if it was like retaliatory, where Akane is was scared and like killed him in an act of self-defense, or was kind of a piece of shit and did something stupid and that led to his death.
Yeah. And specifically, part of what makes me think that at least this one may have been Tsukasa and not Akane is the first of the two that we saw in the teacher's flashback was definitely more of like an angry, murdery type of,
There was
person,
darkness in him.
and I could believe that this is the one who would murder somebody. Whereas this one was the, crying in the corner of an empty classroom, not exactly the sort of, actions I would expect from a murderer. So we'll see what happens. And specifically, we have a sort of link to this moment in that while Nene was there, she picked up a key with a little rocket on it. And I'm sure that will come up as an identifier for which of the two
Yeah.
brothers we were interacting with in this moment. So we will at some point learn more of the backstory. I'm sure it'll come right at the end of this show because I'm pretty sure it also has 13 episodes
12. We've got
or
two more.
12 episodes. Yeah, so there's 2 more episodes, and I'm sure we will find out a little bit more about the backstory of them, probably due to this mirror thing, which is the plot of, I think, basically all of the second episode is the hands and the mirrors.
Yeah, in like the first like third, we get the hands, which isn't really. It's kind of part of the mirror arc. It's more to introduce it because we kind of just find out, hey, there's these hands that showed up in these photos, and now we just have to kind of play with them, and that's the hands. And then one of them drags Nene into the mirror, and then has nothing to do.
It was specifically one of them comes out with a mouth. It's like, hey, baby girl, how would you come into my mirror? We could put stuff in each other.
God, no.
And then he drags her into the bad touch mirror. Yeah, it was not a good sight.
And then we meet Mitsuba again. He's back.
Yeah, and then he's back. Not dead somehow.
Well, not...
yeah, not
exorcised?
gone forever, we'll say. Yeah. Still a spirit, somehow.
And we get introduced to the fifth wonder?
Right? I think so?
The Hell of Mirrors.
Yes.
And in this world, in this boundary, if you look into a mirror, it'll talk back at you about all your all of your my God, what are them called? What are those called?
Fears.
The things that have all of not just fears.
Insecurities.
Insecurities. There we go.
Yeah, it's the Hall of Shade. You walk in and it just throws a bunch of shade at you.
Well, you're throwing shit at yourself.
Yeah, you're throwing shit at yourself.
It's specifically that.
Although I guess technically you're not, because there is actually a spirit that does the shade throwing.
Yeah, that too.
And we learned this because after the mirrors insult Nene relentlessly because of the fact that she has daikon legs again, really going ham on this whole daikon legs thing. The mirrors basically decide to go like full on "I'ma eat your soul" Silent Hill type shit, where we start getting some mannequins with some fucked up faces to come and eat us.
Fucking
it was real
shit.
Silent Hill, yeah. And it was going to murder Nene and then take her place because she's ugly. I believe the mirror said solid 7.
So no.
No, she was
a solid 7.
Mitsuba was a solid 7, and that breaks him. Nene was a 4.
Yes, Nene was a 4.
Okay, yeah. Nene was a 4. So it decides, the world would be better off if you were dead, and I'll take your place because I can be better than you, daikon legs. So it goes to kill her with its, Silent Hill mannequin people. And just at the last moment, we see Hanako coming to save the day, except for he's wearing that stupid fucking gi, and so it's actually Tsukasa.
And then he just grabs the spirit's head and then just keeps smashing it into the mirror.
Yeah, we see the bird is actually some sort of crow thing, and then yeah, he goes full on sociopathic serial killer, and yeah, brains the bird against the wall of this mirror until the mirror breaks. And we see blood all over his hands and on his face and on the wall and on the ground.
It's everywhere,
He
blood everywhere.
he killed that dude. It was a spirit, and yet still somehow
It had
he
blood.
beat it till it bled. The thing is dead.
And then he walks up to Mitsuba and just gives him a little like blood
Yeah,
thing on his face. Mitsuba's crying, and I guess he looks distraught, but like happy that Tsukasa's there.
kinda.
I don't know. Nene's just like, no, this is a bad situation to be in.
Yeah, it's very like abuser abusee sort of situation over
Yeah.
there. As the whole like I'm gonna rub blood on your face and call you useless thing. Yeah,
That's why I said like, that's why I had that tinge of like, it's not okay.
yeah, it was sort of gross. It
But
was more than a little bit unsettling,
it was unnerving. It was upsetting.
especially since Mitsuba the entire time he's not acting like
Our
a
Mitsuba.
weird yelly idiot, acts like crying, basically a girl, which is what everybody thinks he is when they first see him. So it's fair to say.
No, Nene doesn't think he's a girl.
Did she not?
No, Nene's like, that dude's a prime 10 out of
Well,
10.
he was uncertain. She was uncertain
Oh.
because when she first shows up and she's like, "Oh yeah, Mitsuba," I remember her being like, "Mitsuba kun," with like that
Oh, okay.
question of
That
like,
makes
"Is
sense.
this correct?" So I guess she did think he was a guy, but she wasn't certain,
Okay, that makes sense.
which
I get
may
that now.
also be due to the fact that I don't know enough about Japanese, but apparently they have like masculine pronouns, and maybe he was referring to himself in a masculine sense. I
They
could
do
not say.
have masculine pronouns, and then there's also like a gender neutral one.
Mhm. So I don't know how he was referring to himself, if he
Yeah.
was using like masculine or gender neutral
We need those
pronouns.
TL notes.
Yeah, there were masculine pronouns. It's relevant in case you do podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be very nice for those specific TL notes. Um,
But that was something about Hanako. Oh, by the way, it's canon that either Tsukasa or Hanako or Akane think that she has daikon legs as well.
yeah, one of them definitely does.
Because that was like a little scene at the end of this 10th episode.
Yep.
Sorry, yeah, 9th episode. God, everyone just like hates this girl. It's so sad.
I don't understand what's wrong with having daikon legs. I mean, she's thick with two C's,
God,
and I'm
damn.
about it.
So that's Toy by Hanakun. Is there anything you want to talk about, Nick? Anything else about the show?
Um, I don't think so. I hope we see more of Sakura. I like her character.
She was fun.
She seems like I want to know more about her wish. What you wish to, Tsukasa to get him to do things. Because we saw in 2 or 3 episodes ago, I forget, I've lost track of time vaguely. It was probably like 1 episode ago, actually. But we saw that he grants wishes to spirits.
Yes,
And I thought he only grants wishes to spirits,
that would make
which would
sense.
imply that Sakura is dead.
Yes, which
But
would make sense as to why she can use the magical radio.
it would, you're right. But I feel like it would be like cheating for a rumor to change their, or a wonder to change their own rumor, or like a spirit to change their own rumor. So
Uh,
would have thought that people had to like human people would have had to change the
well, like
rumors.
Hanako also changes rumors too. I guess he doesn't really change them. He just like kind of starts. No, I guess he does change them.
Does he change them or does he get Nene to do it?
I guess he got Nene to do it one time, but like
Because with the rabbits, I thought it was Nene doing it.
his whole thing is that he has to make the rumors change in order to keep everything in line.
I thought that's what Nene did. I always thought Nene was the one doing that.
I
Like
just thought
actually
Nene
doing.
was helping, but like wasn't the only reason why this has happening.
I always thought it was like Hanako basically came up with like, all right, this is what we're gonna say, and then sent, basically Nene to tell Aoi, and then Aoi tells everybody else
Yeah.
because Aoi knows everybody and Nene knows nobody.
Oh, Nene.
Yeah,
What
seriously,
Nene's such a fucking train wreck. I love her.
she is a fucking hot mess. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's a little bit weird. The whole is Sakura dead or not? But I don't know, I hope we see some more about her, see what her wish is, see what's going on with that. But I'm sure next time we will escape from the hell of mirrors, and Tsukasa will probably have another psychotic episode somewhere along the way and murder somebody else for no
it's gonna
reason.
go fun crazy. Yep.
Yep. But to dampen the spirits after a psychotic murder, we now have Somali, in which we watch a golem slowly die.
Yes, but at the very least, the first half of the ninth episode, or the ninth episode itself, wasn't that sad. It was actually kind of nice, because in the first half, we're just making a cake. And there we go.
The 10th episode also, well, some of the 10th episode wasn't that bad because it was a flashback back to when he wasn't dead
I
yet.
mean, he wasn't dead yet, but like, someone was in chains. Like things weren't that great.
I mean, she was in chains, but she was running around the forest happy. She was
Yeah,
as happy as
there's
one
that.
could be in chains, and so you're kind of like, yeah, whatever, you're in chains, but so what?
But yeah, we make a cake in the first half of the ninth episode, and then in the back half, we meet the orcs again. They come
Yeah,
back, and I'm kind of happy.
you were saying that you were saying we were going to see them again, and I thought we were going to go back and see them in their house, but they came and found us.
Wait, did I?
I thought you said that we were going to. Well, I
No,
thought I
fuck it. I'll
asked.
take it. I'll take it.
I mean, you definitely said you wanted to see them again, and I asked if you thought we were going to see them again. I thought you said yes.
Well, whether or not this is true, whether or not I said yes or no, I'm going to say that I said yes. Um, and I'm not right. I get bragging
You're-
rights.
So we found the Oni again.
Yep. Oh, so that's what they were, Oni.
Yeah, and in the ninth episode, we basically just sort of hang out with them for a little while, eat some cheese or not cheesesteak, souffle. We eat some souffle with them, and then we go off to basically fucking Crime Town.
Crime Town. Like kind of a seedier place than we've been to before.
I don't remember what it was called, but it had one of those like, shitty end of the alley type of names.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm not entirely sure how an entire city is the end of an alley, but that was this city.
Yeah, it really was. All of the city is just end of alleys. Just like every tavern in an edgy D&D campaign only has corners of taverns for characters to sit in. Um, Literally just a building full of corners.
It's not even like it's always an unlit corner. There's never
Yeah.
just a nice lit, candles on every table.
Yeah, no.
There's a nice cheery attitude. It's always you get into a seedy cavern. There's prostitutes up on the second floor. There's shit covered tables and hay all over
Hey, all over.
because
You
there's no
stopped
floor.
describing a seedy tavern and you've just started
It's
describing
like
a
the fucking
barn.
barn. There's horses in the fucking tavern.
Okay.
It's not a bar. It's a barn.
It's not a tavern at all. You're actually in a barn.
You were at the
You're
tavern
actually
an
a
hour
farm
ago.
boy.
You're just fucking drunk now.
That'd be a good way for a dungeon master to say "fuck you all" to a CD camp or a grimdark campaign before they left.
Anyways.
Oh, anyways,
Yeah.
this is end of the alley town because everything is weird and fucked up, and no, not weird and fucked up. It was just everything was just a
shitty,
little
like,
bit odd.
Yeah.
It was Nocturne Alley from Harry Potter, where everything's just a little bit off.
Yep. Oh, we even get to a fight, so Somali kind of just runs around because she's a fucking child and that's what they fucking do.
Yeah.
Bumps into a dude and the dude's like, "Arr, blah, blah, blah."
In classic, Japanese thug way, he's like, "You bumped into me. You owe me $1 million now."
Yep.
Because apparently that's some sort of threat thing,
So I think
common thing in Japanese civilization.
that
I'm
might
not sort of
be
familiar
a
with this.
reference to the scam that some people were doing, and it even got referenced. The reason I know about it is it got referenced in Mob Psycho a couple years ago, was that you carry around a vase, and if someone bumps into you, you drop the vase, and then you say, "Hey, you broke my fucking vase." So
Okay.
they get you to give you money.
It's like that Russian "you hit me with your car" thing, where you see people like jump onto cars.
Yeah, basically, it's similar to that. It's kind of like an insurance scam thing.
Okay.
So that it might be similar to that. I don't know. I'm not an anthropologist specifying like anime culture.
Anime culture.
I don't know, fuck it, like anime. Fuck it, whatever.
I'm an anthropologist specializing in weeb culture.
There's someone who's like that.
I think it's just called Japanese culture at that point, B.
Anyways, yeah, they go into the orc. So the golem and the taller oni show up, and they just beat the fuck out of these dudes.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's some solid Mario stomping heads into pavement.
the golem's like
Uh,
not about to have his child be accosted by these motherfuckers.
Accosted by these motherfuckers.
Um, but
That was a great 0 to 100. On the one end, you were, an upper middle class white family. You accosted me, and on the other side, you turned into Shaft. I was accosted by these motherfuckers.
bang, bang, bang. But during this time, there was like this smaller kind of sub story of Somali having her one of her teeth loose, and it
Yeah.
falls during this like kind of altercation. And we go back to this dentist place. Not that big a deal. But we
Specifically because during this altercation, I believe she tries to run away, trips, and busts her face, is what happens.
oh god, fucking children falling over is the funniest fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
It's even
so,
funny in anime form.
It really is. So she fell over and knocked her own tooth out, and
She's scared.
earlier in the episode, we had dropped by a dentist who was actually a little tiny rat, and we learned a little bit about teeth, and specifically the fact that as adult teeth, are when you lose them, they don't grow back. So if you have to rip out one of your rotted teeth, you're not going to get a new tooth to replace it. So Somali's very upset that her tooth has fallen out and she's never going to have a new one. So when they go back to the dentist, he laughs in her face and basically says, "You dumb idiot! They're baby teeth. You're going to get a new one in a couple weeks.
You
You're
fucking
good."
child.
Fucking child. And then he gives her the creepiest fucking device of all time. Where he's like, here's this pod and put all of your baby teeth in so you can have a fully functioning mouth at some point. What the fuck, dude?
That is a little weird, but like, my mom still has some of my baby teeth. I guess it's just a cultural thing
I mean, my mom has some of my baby teeth, but it's just like
to have all
they're
of
just
them.
in a bag, though. Like they're just in a bag in her,
Yeah.
like jewelry box. She doesn't have like a fucking pod, so that when you open it, it's like smiling at you. Like that was the weird thing about it to me. It wasn't keeping the teeth that was weird. It was the way it was arranged, so it created like a mouth when you opened it. That was kind of
It's
unsettling.
a little nerve-wracking, but I mean, this is just show. It's a way to show that the golem is actually growing more and more emotions.
Yeah.
Because at first he's like, I don't fucking need this, and then he sees Somali kind of being upset about it, and he's like, actually, never mind, give it to me.
Yeah. I won't say that he is full on sentimental yet, because it's definitely a sentimental object. I don't think he experiences sentiment, but he definitely did seem considerate of Somali's emotions. Of she wanted him to keep her baby teeth with him,
Yeah.
because
He's empathizing.
reassurance. Yeah, basically, yeah, he's empathizing with her. So I mean, it's not full on sentiment, but I'll take it. It's a win.
It's happening.
Yeah. But because of this, beating up thugs in an alley, the golem and the taller oni get a job as
Bodyguards
at a bar in
Bar
type deal.
Yep.
And they take the guy up on it, and as payment of this, I guess they get to go stay out in a house outside of town.
Where it's
where they
safer
just-
than
yeah.
than in town.
yeah, get to hang out there. And so they go out there, check it out, see that it's a house. They've got stuff. We can live here. And we begin the next episode by having our taller Oni and the Golem go off to work, as small Oni and Somali spend the day around the house, trying to think of some way to create a present that the Golem will be happy to receive. Oh no, the first thing that happens with the flashback, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
I forgot about that.
It's the backstory of how the golem met Somali, and how the golem slowly started to realize that, like, hey, I kind of like need to take care of this girl.
Yeah.
Like the forest now isn't my number one priority. It's now this girl, and making sure she gets to a group of humans safely.
Yes. Specifically, we learned that the Golem is the biggest tsundere ever.
Yeah, basically.
It's like, small child, you're just
Leave.
near me. I'm not taking care of you.
And they just keep giving her food.
He keeps giving her food and shelter and staying with her while she sleeps. Yeah. He's not taking care of her at all.
Once again,
But yeah, we
showing
get to
that,
see a little bit about their backstory,
Yeah.
and we also get to see that she was some sort of slave, and there were very clearly other human slaves.
they all got deaded.
They all got killed, yeah. But that implies that there were more humans in, like, the nearby area.
Well, so they weren't slaves, because one big thing is that in this world they eat humans. So there's probably like basically cattle.
True.
So,
That's
like,
a good point.
The fact that like there were humans there means like they might not be there anymore because they got eaten.
Yeah, it could be, either a captured town, or like they're humans from a human farm,
Yeah.
as upsetting as that is to think about.
Which comes back at the end of this episode. At least the eating humans part.
Yeah, the eating humans part comes up again.
Actually, we can get right into it right now, because yeah, fucking what's her face, Somali and the smaller Oni try to figure out a little present to create for the golem. They fail the first time, but then the second time, this wonderful little lady, the axolotl lady, comes by
Uh-huh.
and teaches Somali how to make a little braid. She's a very touchy woman. She like hugs the little Oni because she thinks he's a child, and he's like, nah, I'm not a child. The child's over there.
Yeah, I'm a fully grown adult.
Yep. And at the very end, after helping Somali make this little braid for the golem, she gives him a big hug. She gives her a big hug, and then she smells something.
Yeah.
She smells human.
Yeah, as
And
was
then,
pointed out by the Oni before, Somali has that human smell to
Yep.
her.
and like immediately, the first thing that happens after she hugs him is a cut to the to like the mountains, and it's just fucking red. As if
Yeah.
it couldn't tell you, things are gonna turn really bad soon.
Yeah.
So the axolotl leaves, and like, it's really creepy because she has no fucking eyeballs. It's just like, so like the axolotl is like pink, and then her eyes are like purple pinkish. So
Kind
it's just
of.
very strange, and it just keeps walking, and then it fucking has this crooked smile, and then it goes to the seedy part of town and says, "Hey, I've found human,"
Yeah.
and that's the end of the episode.
And we get to see her nice little wicked smile with her kind grandmotherly eyes, because the eyes do not change expression the entire time while she has this fucking murderous smile on her face.
Yep.
It is so fucking unsettling.
But
But yeah, there's
Somali's in
gonna be
danger.
Smallish in danger. There's probably gonna be a murder. We're probably gonna see the wings of death from the golem come out again.
Oh, I think we're also gonna see the fact that the golem's fucked up,
Oh yeah.
and Somali's
We
gonna
learned
understand.
during this episode that yeah, the golem is fully fucked up now.
Yeah, like this is the whole thing about the days again. A couple episodes we saw him, and he was kind of like he had like parts of his armor falling off. This episode, like his actual body's starting to break apart.
Yeah.
So like it's progressing a lot faster than I'm comfortable with.
Yeah. Before there were like occasional bits of him breaking off. Now there is more black stuff than white stuff, and most of the black stuff is cracking too at this point.
Yeah.
It's real bad. So this could be the death of the golem. You might be right. He might not get a second lease on life.
Who knows? Because the Oni is thinking of ways to kind of make his life longer. He even like mentioned so in the episode.
Yeah.
But we also find out this Oni like doesn't really care that Somali's a human. Like he even knew about it beforehand. He's
Uh-huh.
simply okay with it, which makes sense. This Oni's a cool motherfucker. I love him. He's a rad dude.
I do like the small Oni. I like both the Onis. They're
Maybe.
both good people.
Yeah. Not to give the tall Oni any flack, mostly because we didn't really see him this second episode because he was off doing bodyguard stuff. But he's also a cool dude.
Yeah. I mean, he kicked ass.
Yeah, he kicked ass.
As for the golem thing, and the fact that his outside skin is falling off, we did see during the witch flashback another golem with no outside skin. He was just all inside skin, who was doing all right.
But like his chest wasn't breaking apart.
Yeah,
Our golem's
his
is.
chest was not a scarred mess. That is a good point. You are correct about that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some way to like patch them back up and they don't need outside skin. They can just be all inside skin and still be okay.
Who knows?
Who knows? I just don't want our golem to die at the end of this. It would be a very likely. It wouldn't be a letdown of an ending, but it would be a bummer of an ending.
Yeah, fucking Somali just gets adopted by like her two gay uncles.
Yeah. Somali, I'm dying. Go with your Oni dads. They'll take you to humans.
But this reminds me, like if there is a second season, I think we might be meeting Hitora again. Hitora and the Harpy girl again. Because the show I've seen,
You
like
think we're gonna see them again?
maybe because like we've seen, they're okay with showing us people we've seen before with the Oni, so we might be able to see them again.
I mean, they'd have to. Hitora and the Harpy Lady are also like on their own quest
But they're
to
also looking
find
for
a
people.
cure.
Well, they're,
And they are
looking
looking
for a cure,
for
not
people.
people.
Yeah, all we know is that they need pure blood or whatever the fuck they said to filter out the unpure blood.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what the weird beholder said as the cure to the harpy AIDS, but it was something like that. So we don't know exactly what they're looking for, whether it is humans or just some source of pure blood or another cure that doesn't require killing people. Um, but they're also on their own sort of exploration, and we don't really know where they're going. If they were looking for humans, you'd think they'd come with.
Yeah, that's what that. When they're split up, I'm like, why don't you just go together? But
Yeah.
who knows? Whatever.
So we'll see if they turn up again. I mean, you certainly could be correct. They could very well turn up, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll
Yep.
see what happens if there is a second season.
Yeah, right. As of right now, we only have 2 episodes left, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be with they have to run away, and I don't know what else.
I think we're gonna fucking burn a city to the ground.
Maybe I mean in episode 12 might be the end. Like the golem might die.
I think, yeah, we're gonna see. What I expect is the golem is gonna go full on like Angels of Death, not the shitty show, but the wings and the murdering people rampantly. Uh, I think he's gonna go crazy, and then like the whole going crazy, wings bursting out of his back thing is gonna kill him. Basically,
Okay.
it's gonna be one of those like I trade my life for so that you can live. Go with your gay dads.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I hope that'd be a pretty badass way to go out, but
Yeah,
it's still going out.
I killed a town for you. Love me forever. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I just don't want him to die. I want our golem to survive.
So we come up to the next segment of this fucking awful show. What do you want to say out to today, Nick?
So I'm gonna do my 1 a year sellout to the same thing I will sell out to every time or every year at the same time. I will sell out to Girl Scout cookies, the greatest things ever
Oh.
invented, and specifically the greatest Girl Scout cookie of all time, Samoas.
Yes.
Okay, good. I was gonna say Samoas are the greatest Girl Scout cookie ever invented. Thin Mints were a mistake.
I don't like mint, so like that's just my thing.
Yeah,
But
agree.
I don't think they're bad. They've got an area if you've got shit taste, but
Yeah,
Samoa's
mint
are
is
clearly
not
better.
a dessert food. If you like mint in your dessert food, I mean, more power to you. But in my opinion, mint is not a dessert food. Mint is an after dessert food to like freshen your breath.
Not even for that. Like I just hate mint. I hate the taste of mint.
Oh, do you hate mint all the way?
And basically, I just hate the fucking herb. I think it's
Okay.
disgusting.
I can deal with like little mint, like breath mints. I'm okay with.
I'm okay with like,
Like if you had
Gum,
minty breath
sure.
mints, I'm okay with that.
but
Like
like,
Tic Tacs.
yeah, I guess so. But like an actual mint in a dish, I am not a fan. I cannot do it.
I think there are some curries that use mint, but they use like so little that it doesn't taste minty. It just tastes herby, and I think it's okay. But I can't off the top of my head remember what they are.
I'll try
But
that.
anyways, Girl Scout cookies, and specifically Samoa's, the greatest Girl Scout cookie ever invented. Shout out to Girl Scout cookies and Samoa's. When I was driving back into Charlottesville, I decided this before I saw this, but it made me laugh when I saw this as I was driving back to Charlottesville. There was a fucking billboard for Girl Scout cookies, like on
A billboard.
Route 29 or Route 27. I forget which road I take. But yeah, there was a full-on billboard for Girl Scout cookies that was like, it just said cookies, and then like I had a whole bunch of Girl Scout cookies. Had like the URL for like girlscout.com/cookies or something like that. And I was just like, who the fuck thinks they need to advertise Girl Scout cookies? Like, they are the most fucking crack addictive things in existence. You think you need to advertise that shit? I could fucking mainline that garbage.
That's a little strange.
So that one made me chuckle. I've never seen that billboard before either. I think that's new. Like, since I came back in January, or drove back to UVA in January, between January and yesterday, March 15th, when I drove back, from the most recent time I was up, somewhere in between that time, that billboard got put up. So that
Okay.
made me chuckle as I was driving back in. But yes, my shout out once a year in March when they start selling them again, 2 Girl Scout cookies and the greatest Girl Scout cookie ever invented, Samoa's. Shit is like heroin. I love them to death. What would you like to sell it to, Brandon?
Today, I'm going to sell it to a manga called Gal and Dinosaur. It's going to get an anime adaptation next season. It still has not been placed in the TV short section, and I have
Okay.
no idea how the fuck they're going to have 24 minutes each episode for this fucking thing. Like, don't
How
get me
many
wrong.
more weeks do we have until it starts?
3. About 3.
Oh my god, how is it not in the TV shorts yet?
Like, as much as it, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say it's bad. Like, I'm trying to rag on it. I fucking love this manga. It's so cute and dumb, and just fun. It's inoffensive. It's funny, but like I don't think there's just enough. I just want more. And I'm glad this is an anime. I'm gonna fucking like binge that shit. I'm gonna fucking breathe it in.
I'm just gonna get all up in it.
Gonna get all the way. It's gonna get all over my face. It's gonna be great.
Um, but yeah, I've also read a little bit of it, and I agree with Brandon that I am amazed that it's not a short yet, but it is very funny, and I think it'll also be a really good show. So
Yeah, go watch it. Go read it. Go, have fun with it.
go, yeah, watch it first and then read it, so it gets more seasons and gets more serializations.
I want to get a little plushie of that dinosaur because it's just such a simple design concept,
Uh-huh.
but he just looks so or he or she. Actually, they actually never say. It
Yeah.
just looks so fucking great. Like the expressions this dinosaur can have with just basically three C's. This dinosaur is basically just three C's. It's just three C's. That's all it is.
I mean, you're basically right.
It's three C's with eyeballs.
It's three C's and a V.
It's fantastic. I love it so much. Also the cute. Also the chick's cute. There you go. That's my sellout.
So there you go. We actually did two sellouts and actually had ideas for what we were going to sell out for before we reached sellout time, which I think is the first time in several weeks that that's happened. Usually it's
False
my fault.
because
I fumble fuck all the way around.
I was looking at a list of manga I could possibly sell out to, and Gallon Dinosaur is right in front of me, so that just shows that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
Brandon let you peek behind the curtain as to how he decides. I usually just come up with something on the spot, but like I said, Girl Scout cookies. I don't need to come up with something on the spot when it comes to Girl Scout cookies. Those things are fucking delicious.
well, yeah, that was ABC. Thanks for listening.
Come back next week for more of the same, but with even less direction somehow.
Even less direction and even more bumblefucking around.